I'm Tony.
I'm Melissa, and we're from Dapper Kitty Music.
We're here to talk about
And show you
various tongue drums. So Melissa, what tongue drum are we looking at now?
this tongue drum is a steel tongue drum that is by a Chinese company named Yoliyoqu, Yoliqu. Hope I pronounced it correctly. And it's a company that makes other products besides musical instruments, but they also focus on musical instruments.
Okay. And this one, what key is it in?
This actually is in, for example, on Amazon, it has been determined that it is in C, so in C major.
When you say it's been determined, the person who had it for sale said it was in C major.
They said that, yeah, so some other customers who had this said it was in C major.
I gotcha. Okay.
And that is right. However, people might notice this is very cute in how it's designed too. I'm going to kind of hold it up to the camera. All right. And you'll notice if you have some musical background that there are not 8 keys here, but there are actually, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 keys to it. So it is basically, it's a C major scale, but it isn't from C to C. It's actually from G to C. So you get some extra notes. So some notes that are a little lower than that home pitch. So I'm going to put it back carefully so everyone can still see the drum as I play it. So it begins, it's a C major tongue drum, but it begins on G. So it goes up through the musical alphabet, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
I got you. Okay. And so why this particular tongue drum? When you were purchasing your tongue drums, and we have in our studio, Dapper Kitty Music, somewhere between like 8 and 10 of these. What attracted you to this one, and what does it add to the studio?
So it that G, A, B, C, D, as it goes up through G, it has a mixolydian scale sound. So we didn't have any tongue drums that have that sound to them where you can make G the pitch center on, say, a C major tongue drum. It's a really great sound too. So we have tongue drums that are in C major that sound very strongly in C major. And I also just love how small it is and portable. And this was very inexpensive. I think this, ranked towards the very top of the most affordable tongue drums we have in the studio. Has a bit of a tinny sound or timbre. So I would say if you like that sound more than a resonant sound, this is a good drum to purchase.
Now you can make this more resonant by taking something off of it.
Slightly more resonant. It doesn't make a huge difference, but let me go ahead and show you. It does have a resonating hole in the back, and it's very easy to take out. You'll notice too, it has some feet that it stands on, which allows for it to sound better, and it's also nice to be able to put on a table. So I find this is a really great travel tongue drum.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that all the passengers on Amtrak will appreciate when we play this.
Yeah.
So I do have an interesting question about this drum that I wouldn't have about many tongue drums, and that is, it sounds to me like you can't really make this sound bad no matter how hard you tried. So you wouldn't need any musical training. Let's say you were a 5-year-old child and you had an inclination towards music. Would this be something a child could pick up and play and not want to drive you out of the house, like say a child would with learning violin or guitar or drums or some other instrument?
Yeah. Well, I would say 5-year-old learning it, well, you better be prepared. But anyway, there are some musical instruments that do sound really nice, no matter what you do play on them. Here, some dissonance can occur, so this isn't like the pentatonic ones. So the pentatonic ones, what's so nice about the pentatonic tongue drums is that even when you play them together, the dissonances don't sound very bad. There are some dissonances here that sound okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
do.
They really do sound okay. And it has a nice light sound to it as well. It is a strong instrument, so if you're afraid of, if you have a young child who is, let's say, precocious and ready to play a musical instrument, but might be a little tough on them, this is a good bet. It's really very hard to bend these keys, mark them out of tune, do that kind of issue. I would probably lean towards some of the even smaller tongue drums that are a little bit better for small hands. Now this instrument, I think, if you had large hands and wanted to play it, might be a bit of a challenge.
And before we do play, and we are going to play with both the mallets and the hands so you can hear how both sound, you mentioned tongue drums going out of tune, and that is something people should be aware of. They can go out of tune. When they do, you just simply bend the tongues back into shape, correct?
Most of the time, if you're very lucky, you can just simply bend it back in shape. I wouldn't try filing. I know that filing is one possible way to handle it, and you could chip paint, you can do damage that way, so I would not do something that drastic first.
You'd be doing something you couldn't undo.
Right, and we will have another video on how to tune or alter the tuning on the tongue drums, and that requires using magnets. I think is the best way to do that without damaging the instrument if you wanted to alter the tuning a bit.
And here I want to add, Melissa also mentioned that we had that there are other small tongue drums that might be better for small hands. We do have some of those, and you will be seeing them in future videos like this, where we show you what a tongue drum sounds like and just basically tell you about it, everything you could want to know about it. So let's go ahead and play some of it.
Okay.
So, I see you can play by mallet. How does this sound if you play by hand?
A little bit tricky. So you get some sound. It's nice. If I mic it really carefully, put some reverb behind it, it could be quite beautiful, but it is less of one that I would want to be playing with my hands. So the mallets that come with it are rather good. Take a little care if you do get these mallets to make sure that there are no splits in them. And so that is one issue that I think happens when you get these smaller mallets from companies that aren't making expensive tongue drums.
Right, and do not put rings on your hands thinking the rings will make it sound better. They do make little rubber rings that have little knobs on them that you can put on your fingers, and with those on you can hit, and it does give you a little bit more of a sound.
Yeah.
I don't have them on, I'm just showing how you would play if you did. But yes, you do not want to you do not want to say, oh, metal on metal would sound better here, because then you would do damage to your tongue drum.
Now, one way you can drum on this that is kind of interesting is if you have some fingernails.
Ah, which I do not. That sounds interesting.
So, yeah, you do have some interesting overtones with it that you can hear. One thing I will point out about this drum, so most tongue drums, when they have a note in the center, so Tony, what's this called?
You've told me in the past that it was called a ding, but it's not always a ding. You explained in the last video.
Right, so sometimes there's just a decoration there. And this time there is an actual ding, and the ding is the G note, which is also the lowest note of the tongue drum. And so this one actually starts out with something that is very typical of tongue drums, but most tongue drums, after you play out from the ding, you basically can go in a particular order where you alternate the notes. And this one is a bit different. Let me show you first. So when you come out of the ding, this is the next lowest note. And sometimes this will be the next one, and it isn't in this particular case. So the organization of these tongues can be a little bit confusing, and there's a bit more of a learning curve. I have to remind myself actually each and every time I play this instrument that this instrument's tongues are organized in a different way from
right to left instead of left to right.
Right.
And I do want to add here that even though this is a complex drum and something that you kind of need to know a little bit about music to actually be able to play it in order the way Melissa just did, it is like most tongue drums, it will sound pretty no matter what you do. So even if you have no musical background, you should be able to pick up a couple of mallets and just play and produce some nice sounds.
Yeah, and actually, if you wanted to, this instrument does come with stickers that you can place on the tongues. Does not hurt the sound quality of the drum at all. I just think it's much more beautiful without them. And because I have some musical background, I don't put the stickers on the drums when they don't come with them. The stickers can wear out, but if you are familiar with using numbers, or if you prefer to use letters, you can get stickers that have letters on them and label all these notes. And so that's something that you can certainly do with this drum. I just think it's so pretty without seeing the numbers on it.
Sure. And again, you don't really need to know what you're doing to make it sound nice. So I have no official musical training. I'm self-taught on various instruments. I am not self-taught on tongue drums because honestly, I only knew they existed a couple of years ago, and I'm still able to pick this up and play it. In fact, you're going to see in one of our jam videos, I will be playing this drum while Melissa plays cajon. So. One last question, and then you can play us out, which is, how does somebody get one of these? I know that you can go through music services like Musician's Friend, Guitar Center. Is that where you would go, or can you get this on Amazon?
As of 2020 and 2021, this instrument is available on Amazon. That's where I found it. It was not available through any of the other online music retailers. So Amazon is where you go for this one. And if you want to give someone an impressive gift that's really pretty and sounds good, this is a great instrument.
Oh, nice. So you would play us out for the video here.
Sure.